Okay, I still got these trend lines on the 1 hour euro dollar. And we're coming up testing this this part of the channel. So we're at that breakout point again. A little bit of news coming out in 20 minutes. So I'm gonna buy a little bit more here. I got a 5-minute, and here's a little triangle we broke out of on the 15. It's just a baby triangle. It looks a little bit better on the 5. I guess they call these pennants. So if we come back to the apex of this pennant, I'm going to buy more there, because getting in at the apex, the revisit of this pennant, that's typically a good entry point. And then you got this double top here, which is a nice support area now. So this was the target for the sellers, and this is the support level for the buyers on the half hour. Well, yesterday was this was the target. So we're right at that target. We blew through it. And on the 30-minute, you can see this subtle double top becomes a bottom right in that triangle. So anytime you see anytime you see something like this, it's a triangle of some type when it goes flat line. Because if you go to the 15, you can see the end of that move. So you might have to come all the way back to this 111.32, but I don't know. Seems like this thing's really might be in a scramble here as you come near the top of the hour. So I just bought a little bit, not too much, because I think really the better entry is down here. So we'll just come back at the top of the hour and see how that plays out. This is the 5-minute, and this looks like a nice double bottom, like this thing's just going to go up here. So I just bought a little bit at the market, and then I put the pending orders below to catch the whiplash if it come back before we go up. Because a lot of times, these kind of 5-minute signals are pretty fragile, and there's this trend line that's been going on for so long here that this is just itching to be broken, and then come back to the apex of that area there, or even below. So if you put in all the supports, if you're going to really go scale crazy, you'd put a buy limit there, and then this big deal here, you put a buy limit down there, because you could just come zooming back there and then bounce off of that. Because if you look at the volatility this thing's capable of, and this is on the 15 zoomed out, I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Even this takes off, and then look at this dip back. This only took about I don't think this is the tail end of the. Well, this is after the news broke or something. But this area here, where it just stampedes into this window, and that's about as low risk as it gets, getting in there. So I'm looking for a possible backfill on the 15. It could come all the way back to that. If I go through that triangle with this trend line and set up a find an area to get in there, So I'm either going to get in at this price, or if by later on we drift down into this. But it's almost like if you play pinball machines, you're waiting for the ball to come back. So the further it comes back into, and then you're just kind of, you don't get to flick the market like a pinball, unfortunately. So, but it's the idea that you're waiting for that pinball to come sliding back into the optimal edge of the flipper, and then we're hoping the market jumps in and flips it. And then the 15, if you join all these tops, all these data points, you can really see the battle line here at the trend line, the rejections, the breakthrough, the retest on a double, and then back into this this double. So it is kind of like a pinball game in that regard. Unfortunately, you don't have the ability to take one of these trend lines and flick the market up, which I wish I could do sometimes, of course, only just because I think I'm just impatient as can be. But yeah, I think we're going to have to back this puppy up about another 10 pips down, at least to this here. So, but just in case, I'm slightly long because sometimes, as we get near the top of the hour, there's kind of a squeeze, and it's just been kind of hanging up here. The pullback for the bears, the pullback should have happened maybe earlier or something. So they're all scared. So let's see what happens at the top of the hour. Okay, news is about 8 minutes away, and they came down and snatched everybody here. The apex of this was the entry, so I just scalped out of that, and I'm probably going to have to sell as soon as the news comes up because I think it could come ripping back. So had to get out of that, and just got one left here because that was just too. That was too. That just took like 3 minutes. That was just too scary. So I'm getting out. I'm gonna go flat. When the news comes out, I'm thinking we're gonna rip back. So buy on the rip back. Plunge into this area, and news will be out here. I'm gonna get in a little deeper here because it could be pretty ugly. So on the retest of that, that's the 15-minute, and that just wow. Just having a scalp sitting right here. That is the trade. I've seen this pattern so many times. The retest of congestion, whatever you want to call it, and that's just a flash in the pan move, and then it could come flying back. So for the guy that went short, he went short right at this wick here, and we just have to wait for the top of the hour. But that was a pre-news, not really big news. It's just the GDP. It's like a yellow. It's not a red news, but yeah, it's also the top of the hour, and I guess the market's opening, something like that. So we'll just wait till the top there, see what happens. Got 4 minutes to go, and they're just about to take out the high of the day. So right into the open here. So I went flat, looking for the pullback. Either they just stall it here, nick it, and then rip it back. But this is pretty much scalp territory. It's the top of the hour, and trying to finish out the week, go another 30 pips up, and challenge the high here from yesterday, and up and down. But yeah, those two, holding a little bit long here, I would be. But yeah, that was you're up about 15 pips if you put your order right there, and that's about 15 pips in 15 minutes. It's a pip a minute, right? Okay, news should be out. Doesn't seem like big news, but I think top of the hour seems to be like a bigger deal. Just 2 a.m. And this is the challenging moment. Definitely, if this doesn't break out with any conviction, sellers will probably come in. pull it back, and I'll get in anything below here, below the water table. Let them test the high. It's kind of a, if I was long right now, I'd be getting out, because I don't like these Linus. This is like just too crazy a zone. And selling, I would start selling at the top here. Another fit. If I was another 20 pips up, I'd put a sell order if I was a seller. For just about a 10 pip pullback. Can't expect too much. So almost there. See now they're pulling it back off the top. Just looking for that real nonsensical move, or just that one that used to crush my account. Was thinking, oh, you know, let your profits run, buy and hold. Of course, on a 15-minute chart, you know, there's so many places to buy and sell just for a few pips, you know. So that almost took that out. Okay, so I'm looking for this pullback now, and just kind of brutal pullback. Now I'm going to start buying about right below where we're at, just as the market opens here. So now I'm going to get in just below where we're at, and I'll buy one at the market. Now this order here, I want to post this order. This is buys at the market, puts a stop in above, puts a limit below. Now this is like if you don't know how you want to get in the market, right? Now that's buying at the market, but it's also buying on this stop above and the limit below. And I think I put these in at about, let's see here. Fortunately, this computer, for having the latest and greatest, is choking on MT4. Seems to like cough up a hairball. Okay, the market just ripped up. Can't see it because my MetaTrader is trying to load. Okay, so there we go. Now looking for the rip back. Oh, see, now I got to be careful. Got to come in just here now. Got to come in kind of a little deeper. Because if this is a real move, then we're going to come back. So let me just get this. Oh, still trying to load the editor. That's always nice. Now here's the script, and then I love that the computer actually gave up on loading that program. It just said, you know, we'll just get to that later. This is kind of strange Windows 8 trick. But it's going to buy at the market, and let's see if fit the whole thing in here. So we're going to buy at the market here. So let me just delete this part here. Okay, market's still up, but I just wanted to show you the script here. Now this is kind of like if you can't decide where you want to get in, and this is going to get in, give or take, a range of this is like a range of 6 pips. So you can buy at the market, and whatever the spread you're going to have to pay, and then it's going to place a stop 3 pips above and 3 pips below. And then the take profits, the stop is going to be 15 pip stop. Actually, this should be, I'm going to cue that up. So you can see the stops against the, so you're getting into the market right here, 10K, and it's going to be 15 pip stop on every ticket. And this one's going to make 15 pips. It's going to make 12. This is going to make 8. So you have to, and when you drop this on the chart, it's just going to execute right there, and it's going to throw these other 2 orders in next.